Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today, I'll be discussing the gacha Gods of Love's name. I'll be doing damage tests as well as seeing its effect on various debuffs. Will this be the best in slot for White Star Airship and other instances where you can inflict debuffs on bosses and mobs? Stay tuned for all the details. God of Love's name has a 5% pull rate and is the 1% gacha for this month. Its description says, damage to targets with debuffs plus 12%. For each debuff a target has, damage to the target plus 2%. This is final damage, but just a clarification, if you have one debuff you get 12% extra, and then each extra one after that you get plus 2%. Against players, if you or your teammates can inflict multiple statuses, then this is fantastic. I'll be doing some damage tests in PvE so you can see how good it is in that case as well. This headwear has the most potential versus bosses in instances like White Star Airship. This headwear can also be great against mobs in Oracle Dungeon and Echoing Corridor. Unfortunately, hitting bosses with debuffs in Museum, Isles, or Ponape Secret Realm doesn't work, so unfortunately it doesn't make those instances any easier. In the current meta, people are often hitting the White Star Airship bosses with either poison or burn, so I'll just be focusing on one debuff during my damage tests. Finally, the debuffs is a vague term, so I'll show exactly what that covers with a few tests. Now, if you need BCC to roll for Gods of Love's name, then try Smile.1. Smile.1 allows you to get discounted BCC and premiums for Ragnarok Mobile. You can see the discounted prices here, and then at the bottom, the wide variety of payment methods for lots of flexibility. Smile.1 has been around for more than 8 years and have lots of global business partners for other games too. Click the link in the description and begin saving today. Thanks to Smile.1 for sponsoring this video. Next, I'll discuss my damage test setup. First, this is my gear for these tests. I couldn't wear my full gear for Ronin, otherwise the consistency is a bit off since you'd kill the boss way too quickly. I'm trying to ideally hit a target with multiple consistent hits to ensure its accuracy. Also, I'm not using any shadow equipment or cold mirror or relics. With self buffs, here are my stats. I have 20,000 attack, 22,000 magic attack, 32% penetration, 117% damage, 19.9% physical damage increase, 163% ignore defense, and I have 121% fire damage. For Adventure Handbook, I have 3,282 attack, 2,665 magic attack, and 70% depot. Next, I reset my Infernal Armor skills. I did not invest in Deep Cut to prevent the damage from increasing per hit, and I also don't use the Etched Mark Ruin either. First I try with no headgear. My initial hit is 24.3 million. After being burned, the stable damage is 43.2 million damage. Next I use Homestead of Snowy Owl, which will do quite nice since fire does extra damage to undead, so the inferior element is activated. The initial hit is 27.9 million damage. After being burned, the stable damage is at 49.4 million damage. Next is the +6 Bashful Moment. The initial hit is 28.1 million damage. After being burned, the stable damage is at 49.8 million damage, so far the winner by a little bit. Next I use Gods of Love's name. The initial hit is 24.6 million damage. I had done a few tests and for some reason it's always slightly higher than wearing nothing at all. Since the first hit is not on a burned target, I would have thought the damage would be the exact same. The stable damage is at 49.8 million damage, which is about the same as Bashful Moment. In my opinion, if you are just inflicting one debuff, it is quite comparable to meta gachas. For my character, all the gachas dealt close to 49 million damage, however since this doesn't work in Museum, Isles, or PSR, I wouldn't invest in it personally. I like investing in gachas that work in general. Now, if its final damage percentage was higher, like 15%, then I think it would be worth the difference. However, I do use this against Oracle Dungeon mobs since inflicting tons of debuffs is feasible. For example, here we use Burn and Poison, which shreds through the mobs anyways. So if you have it, definitely use it against mobs. I think it's great in that scenario. Next, what counts as debuffs? I'll go over some of the popular ones so you can see. I'll be hitting Echoing Corridor monsters so you can see the damage pretty consistently. This would also apply to players as well. First is the Stun Tail. When stunned, I hit for 9,589. I equip God of Love's name via the item bar. Now the stun target gets hits for 10,740. Hard debuffs do work, and some bosses can be stunned before their control status is set to no control, so that can give you some nice extra damage temporarily. Next, let's do Freeze. I equip Dreamweave Silk. I hit a frozen target for 3,740. Next, I equip God of Love's name via the item bar. The frozen target gets hit for 4,189, so this works as well. Next, another popular debuff is Poison due to the poison meta. I equip Flower Demon Valley Lily. The poison target gets hit for 8,773. Next, I equip God of Love's name via the item bar. The poison target gets hit for 10,808, which shows that works as well. Next is Bleeding. My Gunslinger normally hits for 28,000. I equip God of Love's name via the item bar. When the target is bleeding, I hit for 30,000. So a lot of these popular statuses do work, so if you stack a lot of these on your target, then you'll have a nice damage increase. The final test is what's considered debuffs. It doesn't include class skills that make the target worse off. For example, I Holy Strike with Lex Divina to silence the target. The damage is unchanged. Next, I equip God of Love's name via the item bar. Even when silenced, the target takes no extra damage. This doesn't count as a debuff. The same with the skills like Thanatos Nightmare. I reset the other points so I won't inflict other debuffs to the target. The damage before Nightmare and after is at 28,000. The same with using God of Love's name. The damage remains unchanged at 28,000. This is to clear up the ambiguous language to debuffs, which can often mean other things to people. Are you going to get this headwear? If so, where are you going to be using this? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I would recommend, and if you want more gacha analysis, check out this playlist over here.